Did I say that? This week's book video is a bit of a weird one, but it's something that I always love about reading non-fiction, which is the kind of non-fiction paper trail that you get led on. And I'm not sure that you get this as much with fiction, though maybe you do, and I just don't. So as I was reading this book last night, there was mention of my husband's grandmother in it, who used to hang out with the Mitfords, and so I thought that was exciting. And a couple of days, for the last week or so, we've been unpacking some of my father-in-law's boxes of books that we've had in storage for a couple of years, and we're kind of sorting out what we want to keep and what we don't want to keep, which is really difficult because it's hard to let go of books. And I just pulled out this book because I thought it would be interesting to read, and then it turns out that Robert Herbert Percy, who is the mad boy in this book, features in this book. So I was like, oh, I'm going to read this next. It's my next non-fiction because it kind of goes on from what I've been reading. And so I was, and this book is just letters between the owner of a bookshop and her husband during the war. But obviously they must know Lord Berners and all of that. So I was really excited to find that. And I suppose it's not surprising that I'm finding these books in my father-in-law's books, as quite often his mother is referenced in them. But for me, coming at it just because I'm interested in the Mitfords and Lord Berners and things, it's really exciting to find this trail of books. And then just now I found this book on Lord Berners, which I haven't read before, which is Lord Berners the Last Eccentric. So obviously I'm going to read that as well. And then I found this, which I was about to put in the chuck pile because I thought it looked like a kind of flimsy fiction title, and we're trying to be ruthless, but actually it's I think it's about the last days, well, Nancy Mitford living in France, and so I was like, oh, Nancy Mitford, I'm going to keep that and read it. And then looking in the back, I see that Ernest Hemingway's in it, and my husband's grandmother pops up again, which is probably why we have it. But it's sort of, I don't think it mentions Lord Berners or anything. It's just going off on a separate tangent, and that is something that I just, if for people who don't read non-fiction, I think it's that kind of excitement that you get that I would miss if I wasn't into non-fiction. I'm not good at a lot of stuff. I'm not the world's biggest brain, so I'm not good at sciencey things, and I love reading history, but I don't retain that much. And as my father was a military historian and an author, I'm a bit of a failure on that side. But it is this kind of ongoing trail that is so appealing, and it all started from a work of fiction. All started from me reading The Pursuit of Love by Nancy Mitford and loving it, and having my tonsils out when I was 15, and my mother reading me The Blessing whilst I was loaded up on Valium waiting for my tonsils to be removed, and just loving the way she wrote and loving the feel of the era that she wrote about, and wanting to find out more about the author that has now got me reading about all these people, and obviously thinking that what's he called, Lord Merlin in the books, who is Lord Berners, was such an exciting, thrilling character that I wanted to find out more about that. And then, you know, and then I read, if you saw my holiday reading, Uncommon Arrangements about 7 marriages, and one of them was Elizabeth Arnhem, who wrote this book, Elizabeth and Her German Garden. And the thing I like about having a Kindle is I read Uncommon Arrangements. There were lots of writers mentioned, lots of novels mentioned, lots of non-fiction books mentioned that I just immediately go and download a sample to my Kindle. It kind of reminds me that those are books I want to read. And one of the things that was on there was Elizabeth and Her German Garden by Elizabeth Arnhem, and I would be very happy to read it on my Kindle, but it's really nice to have this old battered copy that either belongs to my father-in-law or my mother-in-law, who aren't here. So it's kind of nice to have that link to them. So yeah, bit of a rambly weird video, but is there anything that I should be adding to this reading pile, which is now getting a bit out of hand considering I'm supposed to be putting a load of stuff in storage? Or what, have you read anything that has led you on a complete trail of book after book after book? It's another thing that I do with the Agatha Christie. Anything about Agatha Christie I want to read, but that gets you involved in other people in her circle and everything. So I'm also planning a series of top 5 videos, top 5 books that I've read. So top 5 classics, top 5 crime, top 5 coffee table books, top 5 beauty books. So if anyone wants to get involved and prepare their top 5s, then do. And thank you very much for watching. See you next week.